This is Standing Watch. And now, Evangelist Norbert Link.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome back to our Standing Watch program. On October 31, many Americans, perhaps even most Americans, and many nations around the world are keeping Halloween. And for most people, it's just harmless fun. They do it, their children do it, their teenagers do it, because everybody does it. And you don't want to be ostracized, you don't want to be separated from your friends, your schoolmates, your family perhaps. But is it really that harmless? Where does Halloween come from? What does it symbolize? Should we, as Christians, participate in it? We have prepared a free booklet on God's holy days and man's holidays. And in this booklet we are describing, among many other festivals, Halloween. And we are showing you where the origins of Halloween lie and whether it's something which we should be engaged in. Now some say, well, we may realize it has a dark side, but our daughter just goes like a princess, a white witch, let's say. And what's wrong with that? I found an interesting article in the Huffington Post, dated October 24, and I'd like to read to you a little bit from it because it points out some of the origins of Halloween. It says, you may already think that Halloween is a pretty bizarre holiday. Chances are you really have no idea just how weird Halloween truly is. Halloween's origins come from a Celtic festival for the dead called, and now depending on what translation you use, what pronunciation you use, some say Samhain, others say Samhain, Samhain. You spell it Samhain. And it goes on to say that Celts believed the ghosts of the dead roamed Earth on this holiday, so people would dress in costumes and leave treats out on their front doors to appease the roaming spirits. According to ancient Roman records, tribes located in today's Germany and France traditionally wore costumes of animal heads and skins to connect to spirits of the dead. This tradition continued into modern-day celebrations of Samhain, the Celtic holiday that inspired Halloween in America. On this day, merrymakers often dressed as evil spirits simply by blackening their faces. The leader of the Samhain parades wore a white sheet and carried a wooden horse head or a decorated horse skull. Young people also celebrated by cross-dressing. The jack-o'-lantern comes from an old Irish tale about a man named Stingy Jack. Now, I assume that you have never heard that. I most certainly had never heard that particular tale, but just listen to the weirdness of it, and then you ask yourself the question, would you want to carry such a jack-o'-lantern knowing where it comes from, what it symbolizes? It goes on to say that according to folklore, Stingy Jack was out getting sloshed with the devil when Jack convinced his drinking partner to turn himself into a coin to pay for the drinks without spending money. Jack then puts the devil, shaped like a coin, into his pocket, which also contained a silver cross that kept the devil from transforming back. Here comes this old belief that the cross somehow, or the symbol of the cross somehow has some impact on the devil, or some say on vampires. Of course, total nonsense. It goes on to say that Jack promised to free the devil as long as the devil wouldn't bother him for a year, and if he died, the devil would never claim his soul. Another ancient, wrong pagan belief that we have an immortal soul which goes back to God or which goes into hell when we die. See, the Bible doesn't teach that either. It then says that Jack tricked the devil again, later getting him to pick a piece of fruit out of a tree and then carving a cross into the bark when the devil was in the branches. Again, this wrong pagan concept. The trick bought Jack another 10 years of devil-free living. The article goes on to say that when Jack finally died, God decided he wasn't fit for heaven. Another wrong idea, because people believe that they go to heaven when they die. The Bible doesn't tell you that. The Bible tells you that when people die, they are in their graves awaiting for the resurrection from the dead when Jesus Christ returns. The devil had promised never to claim his soul for hell. Now, that's another wrong concept. The idea like there's an ever-burning hell, and people are being tortured in an ever-burning hell. See, the Bible doesn't teach you that either. It then says that Jack was sent off to roam earth with only a burning coal for light. He puts the coal into a turnip as a lantern, and Stingy Jack became Jack of the Lantern, or Jack or Lantern. Based on this myth, the Irish carved scary faces into turnips, beets, and potatoes to scare away Stingy Jack or any other spirits of the night. So this idea that, ghosts are roaming this earth, those who are not fit for heaven, not quite fit for hell, it's a total pagan, wrong concept. The Bible doesn't teach you that at all. But you see, to walk around now with that kind of a jack-o'-lantern, knowing where it comes from, knowing what it represents, we have to ask ourselves the question as true Christians, do we really want to do that? Do we really want to allow our children to do that? But the article goes on to point out a few more disturbing facts. It says studies have shown that Halloween actually makes kids act more evil. Putting costume-wearing kids into groups and introducing a clear object of desire, such as candy, has been shown to lead to de-individuation. This is a psychological term explaining what happens when a group of maturing young minds begins to care less about the consequences of their individual actions, leading them to do things that they might not do alone. One study in particular found that unsupervised costumed children in groups were far more likely to steal candy and money than both non-costumed kids and children not in a group. And that is very true. Why is it that so many acts are happening on Halloween when children and teenagers are upset with neighbors who don't give them as many candies as they would like to, and then they start demolishing and destroying property? Are you supervising your children when you allow them to go to these Halloween parties or these Halloween trick-or-treat activities? Don't be surprised when a police officer knocks at your door talking about some of the things which your child might have done. See, the bottom line is, my friends, Halloween has no bearing. It has no relevance. Shouldn't have any relevance for true Christians. In our booklet, our free booklet on God's holy days and man's holidays, and again, I'd like you to ask for a free copy if you don't have it already, we are pointing out that the Bible commands. It commands us to have nothing to do with the devil or his evil forces of darkness. We have seen today in this program, and our booklet points it out in more detail, how much Halloween is involved with devil worship, with symbolic acts and symbolic meaning pertaining to the devil, pertaining to goats, pertaining to demons, pertaining to all the things which Christians shouldn't have any part with. Why would we engage in a holiday like that, which is so blatantly pagan and demonic? Paul tells us in the Bible that we shouldn't have anything to do with demons, that we shouldn't have anything to do with what demons do in this day and age. We should be separated from them. You are making contact with demons, my friends, and as I pointed out in a recent program, you will have a hard time getting rid of their influence again. Don't allow yourselves, don't allow your children to do that. You as a parent have a responsibility towards your child. Don't think it's harmless fun. You say, well, my child doesn't dress up like a witch, a black witch. She just walks around like a princess. Well, a princess, a white witch, it's still a witch, isn't it? It's all part of the game. It's all part of something which we shouldn't allow. In our free booklet, we go on to say, witchcraft in all of its different forms and variations is abominable and sinful. And we give quite a few scriptures which point out what we are saying here. You might want to look at them later, perhaps. Turn to 1 Samuel chapter 15 and in verse 23. Turn to Galatians chapter 5 and verse 20. We say that Halloween is nothing else but a festival of and for the devil, and has evil forces and darknesses right in the core of it. It says that true Christians must have no part in it. And as many Christian authors have pointed out, there is no redeeming value in Halloween whatsoever. It is all bad to the core. And don't you believe those who tell you over the internet and on programs and maybe in papers that it's harmless fun and you as a Christian can allow your children to participate in it? People who tell you that really don't understand the depth of Satan. The Bible warns against having anything to do with the depth of Satan. You can read that in the book of Revelation. Don't get involved in it. It may not be as blatant to begin with than perhaps voodoo or other witchcraft activities, but it's all part of it. It's all part of it. And you may come to the point where you may realize that you shouldn't have allowed your children, your teens, to participate in it when it's too late for them, when they act irrationally, when they do things which you don't understand, which you can't explain. Activities like Halloween may have a part in that strange behavior. Don't make a mistake and allow your children to get involved in this kind of activity. Prevent it from happening. Tell your children why. Tell your teenagers why it's so wrong, and that they shouldn't even want to be part of it. And let them develop a character which rejects the wrong and which adopts the right. So thank you very much for listening. This is Norbert Link for the Standing Watch program.
Standing Watch is a presentation by The Church of the Eternal God, P.O. Box 270519, San Diego, California 92198. More information is also available at our website, eternalgod.org.